But you look great, dude.
Thank you.
The light.
Hey everybody, welcome back to In the Can. We've got a whole studio filled with very talented people, myself not included. We are going to be talking about the film As You Are, and with us is writer-director Miles Joris Perifete. And we got Owen Campbell and Scott Cohen, two of the actors that are in this film as well. And before we start, As You Are, that's based off the Nirvana song. So, tell me how that fits in with kind of your overall picture of what this is.
Well, I mean, obviously, Nirvana always an influence, I think, for most people who are interested in that kind of music. I think it was really about the kind of the ethos that band kind of moved forward with, and that influenced the time, and it's the time the film takes place. And I think also the film is really about finding, who you are and trying to navigate that.
So, the song Come As You Are is really all about finding identity, being cool with that identity.
Right.
And this is really a story of three friends, right, who I think that the film kind of shows it in a series of memories, right, but shows their interaction, and of course, some things happen along the way as well. And Owen, you are one of those friends. What's it like working with this guy? When you came into this project, what was your expectation? And did it get completely smashed?
I actually only did the project because I met with Miles. I was just sort of thinking, I don't know if I want to do a movie right now, I might want to do something else. And then we did a chemistry test, and I got to work with him and these other really talented actors. And it's great, because he knows exactly what he wants, but he's very open to suggestion. And he's got a massive amount of passion. This is a story he really wants to tell. And I always dug it. It was always fun.
It was kind of flattering when we started working. He told me, he was like, just so you know, I was going to quit acting. I didn't want to do this anymore.
So you saved him, really?
Well, I feel like he
what I think would be a horrible decision, because you should not quit acting.
Yeah, very good.
That's what I've been told.
So Scott, you play a kind of a counterpoint character. Right. To these three kids, kind of the antagonist, so to speak. I'm not going to give anything away, but what was your impression? What brought you to this project? What made it work for you?
I read the script and loved the script, and had a conversation with Miles, which was on Skype, which was funny because I was on the stoop of an apartment building in the West Village, Skyping a director who was in his apartment in, I think it was in Hudson, New York, and I mean, so part of it was like, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. I'm like at an art gallery or something like that, and having a discussion with a guy that I'm about to say yes to this movie. But to me, it's like, you never really know what you're going to get into until you're there and you're in it. And you really, I mean, I feel like I've been working long enough to kind of know that if you feel like there's something inside a script and you feel like there's something that you could give to it and add to it, then you take the leap and do it. And however it turns out, it turns out. This particular experience just turned out marvelously, and Miles was such a joy to work with, and had the ability at his and I keep on saying this, and I feel kind of stupid saying it, but at such a young age, to have such an old soul, and to be able to allow people to really kind of discover who they were as it went along, and to have faith that the process of the movie was going to take place. And they had lots of times where there were things that were kind of working against them, and his attitude was always, it's for the best. Whatever happens will happen, and it's going to be fantastic because of it. So that kind of leader of a ship is really that's what you look for in a director. And to me, at the end of this movie, I was just like, wow, I can't believe I just had this experience. It was so fantastic, and never thought about it coming to Sundance. And this is just like icing on the cake, really.
That makes sense. I mean, because do you feel okay with that kind of old soul moniker?
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I think it's hard.
Or you're too young to even know what that means.
Yeah.
He's too young to know.
I didn't even know what an old soul is.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, like for me, when the casting process for the film towards the end, I mean, we were already shooting. when we spoke.
Right.
And I remember talking to you and being like, this guy's gonna save the day, man, because like we were not in a good place. But also like we had spoken on Skype, and then when you came in on the first day, we were doing very intense stuff. And it was kind of like, all right, well, let's see what happens. And I remember never being so scared before calling action, and then never being so relieved after cut. Like that first take, I was like, okay.
I remember we were all living together in these two houses when we were filming, and I remember that day everyone went out, and they were doing some really long, heavy dialogue, intense scenes. I remember everyone coming back and just like, Scott's great.
Yeah.
Well, and so much depends. I mean, obviously the chemistry with the actors either makes or breaks this film, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're missing the big link is Charlie Heaton, who plays my son in the movie.
Right.
I just want to say, because this was the experience of working with Charlie as my son was so interesting, because for weeks we didn't talk to each other. And it really took time for us to kind of warm up, for him to warm up to me.
Right.
I mean, because I was probably available for him, but I didn't want to like make a move because the relationship is so fraught.
Right.
So I wanted to keep that kind of tension there. But he eventually came around, and the bond was quite.
I was going to say that process is critical,
It's
isn't
critical.
it? I mean,
Absolutely,
just as actors, right? And then throw Amanda into the mix, right? And who's amazingly talented herself.
Yeah.
How was that chemistry between the three of you? Did you?
We became such good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember it started first. It was just Charlie and I for a little bit, and we didn't really know each other very well. We had a connecting door in our rooms, and so we got to know each other very quickly.
Okay.
We became and it was late nights, constant conversation, and then doing improv as the character together really late, or going over the script before a scene together. It was just great to have, because they're such partners in the script. It was great to have a partner in life. And then when Amanda came in, it was just like a stool needs 3 legs, and suddenly everything made sense. The dynamic made sense on screen, but then off, she's one of the most fantastic people breathing air, really. And immediately we got very close, and you wouldn't think that a 17-year-old would be giving you guidance on life, but I found that a lot of the time we'd be up really late and she'd just be laying down the wisdom,
So a lot of old souls in this film, maybe,
weird.
right?
She's like, I mean, and she's not here right now, so like.
You can say anything you want. Yeah.
But no, she was one of the first people that we cast, and I remember she was 16 when we shot, and so 16. I think she just turned 16 when we Skyped, and I remember the first question she asked was like, "Okay, so like Sarah's like one of 2 female characters in the film. What is her role in the narrative of the movie, and what is going on with kind of the archetypes?" And I'm like, what is happening? Like, this person is 16 years old. No one has asked me these
You're just hoping she gets her lines right.
Yeah. And all of a sudden,
stands in the right spot.
Yeah. She's like, what are the gender dynamics? This sort of like, how is this? And I was like, this is the person. This is the person who's really going to investigate these things, and that's what the film is about.
Yeah.
So yeah, and watching them 3 meet and like hang out and become this like bond was, I mean, for me, honestly, one of the most rewarding things of the film, because that's like what you dream of.
Right.
You dream that everyone is going to get along, that they're going to have friendships that last forever. Right. And it really felt that happened in kind of a magical way.
Well, it's got to. I mean, we're something this tight. I mean, it is as a writer. I mean, you can only do so much when it comes to forming a story, right?
Totally.
These guys are the ones that actually bring it to life, and it looks like you're pleased with the outcome.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the script we used as kind of a template for scenes in a way. Like they really, I wanted to give them as much freedom as possible, because there's only so, for a 16-year-old kid, or for Amanda, for a 16-year-old girl, there's only so much that I can write truthfully.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of the actors, Scott, Mary Stewart, Owen, Charlie, Amanda, John Scurdy, even they knew what that character was to a degree that I didn't necessarily, So we would improvise a lot and kind of rebuild scenes, rebuild dialogue how it felt best. And the only reason why that worked is because everyone was committed to the process. Yeah. And everyone believed in the story enough to infuse it with themselves.
Well, I think the third thing in that was trust. Obviously, you can't operate in an environment like that without absolute 100% trust and commitment to that trust. So,
and what was great is we knew the script was already great. Anything that we added, if it didn't take the script further, we could always just say, okay, no, get rid of that, go back to the written language. And a lot of the time, we do that. We'd experiment something, it didn't work, we'd go back. Or other times, we'd experiment and we'd build off a new beat. And that was exciting, but it's, again, the only way we can have such trust is because there was an amazing cast, an amazing director, and then Madison and Miles had written just such a strong script. So we always had that as a backbone.
Well, you guys should teach a master class or something. Just get everybody back together, go up to the Sundance Institute in the summer, up in the mountains, and do your thing. It's nicer. It's a little warmer.
I like
Well,
that idea.
Everything you guys just said, that's going to come out in the film, and I hope you get a chance to see this. As you are premiering here at the Sundance Film Festival, your first ever full-length feature film.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
you're not nervous at all, are you? You're actually premiering today.
Yeah.
But I don't want to put any pressure on you.
No, not at all.
Okay, good. Yeah, you're going to see it with a crowd and everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be an exciting time. Congratulations to everybody. Thanks, Owen, Scott, Miles, and we'll be back with more In the Can after this.